Hello everyone and welcome back. We're going to be running through some test hands with Tearlament, Tombkeeper. Yes, this list is actually pretty cracked. Tombkeeper might be the way to go when you're playing Tearlament this format. Man with the Mark gives us some crazy access to some pretty good mills, so let's check it out. All we need is Man with the Mark and any card to set. After that, whatever extenders we have are going to let us go, but this is going to give us another mill 5 in Tearlament. So let me show you how we do that. So first off, we're going to go ahead and normal summon this Man with the Mark. Man with the Mark is going to use its effect and get us Treasures of the King. Treasure of the King is going to let us set any Apophis trap from our deck. So we're going to go ahead and set Apophis the Serpent. Then we're going to set the Tearlament Celiac so that we can use the second effect of Treasures of the King to go and grab Merciless Scorpion Circuit. From there, we're going to special summon the Merciless Scorpion Circuit by banishing Anubis, the Last Judge. Then we're going to use the Merciless Scorpion to place Temple of the King. Well, to add Temple of the King, and then we're going to activate it. Now, since we've got Temple of the Kings, we can activate a trap card that was set this turn. So we're going to activate Apophis the Serpent, which is going to let us set the Apophis the Swamp Deity directly from our deck. From here, because Apophis lets us activate it the turn it was set, we're going to activate Apophis the Swamp Deity. Now, there's a couple of ways you can go with this. I personally want to play around the Nibiru more often, so we're going to just Contact Fusion here instead of going for the greedy Mill 8 line that you do have in the deck with Minerva and Pilgrim Reaper. So we're going to Contact Fuse into the Divine Serpent. We're going to go Chainlink 1, Divine Serpent, Chainlink 2, the Serpent, and we're going to go grab the embodiment of the Apophis and reset these two cards. So bare minimum, if they Nibiru us here, we are actually going to still have interruption in the form of Apophis, of the Apophis cards at least. And then from here, I like to go and activate this Palorino now, because I kind of want to mill off this Sheeran more than anything. So we're going to overlay these two and make the Pilgrim Reaper. Now, again, if we wanted to go for Minerva here, with Sheeran, the Pilgrim Reaper, and the Minerva, it would be mill 11. So that's pretty insane. We're going to use this Pilgrim Reaper here to detach and mill 5. Our opponent will mill 5 as well. So that's something you do have to worry about for certain types of decks. Here we milled the Metanoise and the Scream. Metanoise, unfortunately, won't be able to let us search, and we did actually mill the only other trap because we have the Celiac set. So we're not going to be able to use that ability, but we did mill Malicious, which is going to be a little goofy because we also milled the King of the Swamp. So what we're going to do here is we're going to actually just commit to this Malicious line here. So we're going to banish Malicious to summon the other copy of itself from deck. Then we're going to link these two off into Dark the Dark Charmer. Then we're going to banish the other copy of Malicious to summon a third one from deck. And then we are going to link these two off into Sprite Sprind. And then Sprind will use its effect to send Merly from deck to grave. This is kind of just going to protect us if they do like wait for Nibiru. Because now we can go ahead and use the effect of Merly to Contact Fuse. Well, not Contact Fuse, but to fuse here. To make the Tearlament Rule Kalos. And then from here, because we are just that cracked, y'all, we have the Sheeran here, and we have these extra negates. Just this alone is just a ton of negates. But we're going to use the effect of Sheeran here to summon itself and mill 3. And again, we did mill the Scream, and we milled a Havness. So we're going to go ahead and use the effect of Havness here to Contact Fuse. Now, again, not Contact Fuse, but to fuse into the Dragos Tapelia. And then we can overlay here to make the Redoer. Now, this is pretty cracked here. Our board is really tough to deal with. If we pass it back to our opponent, not only do we have a negate with Apophis here, because we can activate the Apophis and set another copy of Swamp Deity from deck, we get the Apophis the Swamp Deity is going to negate 2 cards by itself. We have a summon negate in the form of Rule Kalos. And then on top of all of that, We also have the Redoer effect to banish itself here, which is going to detach this as a card effect, which allows us to fuse. Now, I know what you're looking in this graveyard, and you're like, oh, well, you can't make Kaleido Heart. That's okay, because we can make something a little bit more simple. We're going to fuse the Sheeran and the Mystical Beast, or Mythical Merciless Scorpion of Serket, so many names to remember, to make the Divine Scorpion Beast of Serket, because this monster only needs Serket plus any monster with 2,500 or less attack. Then when it's summoned, it's going to banish a face-up monster our opponent controls, or in their graveyard and banish it, and it's going to gain more attack. So we got 2 negates here from the Apophis. We got the negate from the Serket. We have the negate from the Dragostapelia. We have a Papa card because we shuffled a Tearlament name back into the deck. And then we also have the Rule Kalos, and we have the Sulliek. This is an insane level of interruptions for our opponent to deal with. And on the follow-up turn, let's say for whatever reason we get to keep all of this, because chances are our opponent doesn't really look like they get to play. We can start our turn, contact fuse into the Divine Serpent because we put it back into the extra deck, and then we get to go put these cards back in the spell and trap card zone, and this is an OTK by itself. You know, this is plenty of damage to kill our opponent because the Palorino is also boosting all of our fusion monsters by 500 attack. So all of these monsters here are exceeding 3k attack, plus we have another 1400 from the Sprint, and if we wanted to summon this other Merciless Scorpion from our deck, we can. So definitely an insane level of interaction. Let's go check out the deck profile really quick so that you guys can get it. I'll, of course, put the export file in the comments as usual. So let's go check this list out. Now, I've been working on this list for a little bit now. I can definitely say you don't have to run this embodiment of the Apophis. I just like the +1. As a card player, it just makes me feel really cool. So let's talk about those. We have 2 copies of Anubis the Last Judge, 3 copies of Destiny Hero Malicious, 1 copy of Keldo. Fun fact, the Keldos and the Mudora can summon themselves by discarding the Merciless Scorpion. Then we have 3 copies of King of the Swamp, 3 copies of Merciless Scorpion. We really want to see this card, y'all. Like, if our opponent interrupts us with hand traps, like, this card really does help us push because it is a level 6. So sometimes this plus Malicious gives us that Pilgrim Reaper or the 2 bodies that we need to extend. Then we, of course, have the Tearlament names. We have the 1 Havness, 3 Cash, 1 Merly, 3 Rhino Heart, 1 Sheeran, 3 Man with the Mark, 3 Palorino, 3 Tearlament Scream. This card is incredible in this deck. 1 copy of Temple of the Kings, 1 copy of Terraforming, 3 copies of Treasure of the Kings. Be careful with Terraforming. It does play into Droll a little bit. And then we also have the 3 copies of Apophis the Serpent, 3 copies of the Apophis the Swamp Deity, 1 copy of OG Embodiment. I just really like playing it. 1 copy of Tearlament Metanoise, 1 copy of Sulliek. The side deck is definitely just standard. We have 3 Lancia, 1 Druis Worm, 1 Magnemite, 1 TTT, 3 TTT Part 2, 3 copies of Ultimate Slayer. This card might not be as necessary. You could probably play Solemn Strike if you wanted here. 3 copies of Dimensional Barrier, 1 copy of each of the Apophis fusion monsters, 1 copy of Grapha because we can make it with King of the Swamp plus our Tearlament name, 1 copy of Mud Dragon, 1 Dragostapelia, 2 copies of Kaleido Heart. Again, might not be necessary to run 2 copies of this card, but your extra deck actually has a ton of flex spots because Bahamut Shark got banned, and unfortunately it did, but it needed to go. I can recognize that. I just missed Totally Awesome in this deck. 1 copy of Rule Kalos, 1 copy of Minerva, 1 copy of Pilgrim Reaper, 1 copy of Typhon, 1 copy of Redoer, then we have Dark, Little Knight, and Sprite Sprint. Again, I will put the export file for this in the description box below. Let me know what you guys want to see next, and if you guys enjoy this list. The deck is definitely super cracked, 10 out of 10, really recommend. And other than that, guys, I'm going to be uploading a little bit more consistently because we are in a break for school right now. So I'm going to get a bunch of content up as I can. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe so that you guys see these crazy decks I'm doing for the April 7th format. You guys have been amazing. Thank you so much. This is Gores hopping off.